This video will shock you, ladies and gents. BlackRock is interested in XRP Ripple. BlackRock is the biggest company in the world. They are purchasing XRP coins worth a huge amount of money. This is really crazy. The best part, the price of XRP Ripple could go through the roof and reach $22,000.00, according to experts. That's pretty cool, right? This is the most important movie ever made about XRP Ripple. Let's get started, nota bene. There's a lot of talk in the XRP community, and this time it's not just hype, it could be the start of history. There are rumors going around that BlackRock, the biggest asset manager in the world, is getting ready to apply for a spot XRP ETF. There's still no official word on it, but many crypto experts are now talking about it. One tweet from Javier the Rippler says that BlackRock CEO Larry Fink is meeting with SEC Commissioner Paul Atkins behind closed doors to talk about the ETF. A filing for the ETF is expected any day now. Ant made a bold claim in another tweet that BlackRock is buying $8 trillion worth of XRP in 2025. This made things even worse. After that came jokes and memes, with John Squire tweeting, "But there is a real question behind the joke. What will happen if BlackRock does apply for an XRP ETF?" Before you can understand how important this is, you need to know what an ETF is. An exchange-traded fund, or ETF, is like a music mix for your investments. You're not just buying one song or one object in this case, you're buying a whole collection that can be traded. ETFs are traded on regular stock exchanges, and they are meant to make investing easier and more approachable. In the world of crypto, that means a spot XRP ETF. This would let investors of all sizes get exposure to XRP without having to deal with wallets, secret keys, or exchanges. It's a way to get regular money. This is where BlackRock's participation could make all the difference. BlackRock is in charge of more than $10 trillion in assets. Wall Street pays attention when it talks. People in charge pay attention when it acts. We've seen this before. Once BlackRock asked for a spot Bitcoin ETF, the SEC finally agreed, even though they had turned down every other request. Billionaires poured into the market like water into a dam. Now the question is whether XRP will go in the same direction. There is more and more talk in the ETF world about how likely it is that XRP and Solana will be accepted at the same time as other altcoin ETF applications. This is the same trend that was seen with the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. A well-known ETF expert named Nate Gerasi even said that this could happen if big names like BlackRock and Fidelity get involved. Polymarket Betting Markets says there is a very good chance that an XRP ETF will be approved by the end of 2025. In fact, there's a small chance that it could happen as soon as July 2011. The law background is what makes this so interesting. Ripple fought the SEC for years over whether XRP is a property. At the end of that case, an important decision was made that XRP that is sold on secondary markets is not a security. This decision got rid of a big regulatory problem, which made it possible for ETFs and other goods used by institutions. BlackRock is known for being cautious and planning every move. They wouldn't even think about making an XRP ETF unless the rules were right. If BlackRock does file, the price of XRP could drop quickly and dramatically. Institutions that were hesitant before would now have a legal, controlled way to get into XRP. The demand could go through the roof, and not just because it's useful. There would also be a lot of money coming in. Also, BlackRock's presence would have a huge effect on people's minds. For some, it would be the end change for XRP, from a token that was the subject of lawsuits to a digital asset that Wall Street would accept. XRP's story has always been one of strength, and if BlackRock comes on board, it could also be one of recovery. Until we hear back, one thing is for sure, it's no longer just a dream that BlackRock would back an XRP ETF. It's a possible thing, and it could cause one of the biggest changes in the crypto market in years if it does happen, right? But now things get really crazy. It's possible that the BlackRock XRP ETF report is true, which means that prices will not just go up. We're talking about a huge change in the market. Some people think that the value of XRP could skyrocket faster than anyone thinks. I promise that what's next will blow your mind. If you missed Bitcoin, don't do the same thing again. XRP is your last chance, tweeted XRP Dragon, repeating what many investors are beginning to think. XRP could be the pick of the decade that no one sees coming. It's not just talk or hope either. These claims are backed up by some real math. Let's look at the golden cross. The short-term moving average crossing above the long-term one is a strong sign that the price will go up. It showed up on XRP's charts. Trader Steph said, that kind of optimism is common during bull cycles, but big runs usually come before these kinds of technical patterns. XRP went up more than 36,100% in just 1 year in 2017. The signs may be coming together again. Now, big statements are coming out. Today's market situation is like the 2017 bull run, the XRP Avengers said. They said that if history repeats itself, 100 XRP could be worth $10,000 0 cents by the end of 2025. That means that 1 XRP is worth $100 0 cents. They wrote, "Get ready for sudden wealth." Let's stop for a moment and get back to math. If it were $50 0 cents, the market value would be $2,950,000,000,000 0 cents, which is more than Bitcoin is worth now. $100 0 cents? That's $5,900,000,000,000 0 cents, which is almost twice as much as the whole crypto market right now. Doesn't it sound crazy? But here's the catch. The market for cryptocurrencies is growing faster than most people think. Dan Gambardello, a backer of Cardano, recently said that the cryptocurrency market could grow to $40 trillion 0 cents in the next few years. That changes everything. About $25 trillion 0 cents worth of Bitcoin could be held in a market worth $40 trillion 0 cents. And XRP would be right at $50 0 cents even if it only got 5% of that. Also, know that XRP used to have over 31% of the market during its 2017 run. That means 5% isn't too much. To reach $100 0 cents, you'd need about 14% of that $40 0 cents trillion market. That's a high bar, but it has been done before. Not all of it is numbers though. The mood is also changing. There are rumors of political influence, like Fabio Zuccari's widely shared but most likely false claim that Trump just signed an order setting the minimum price of XRP at $1,000 0 cents. Show how far XRP has spread into general conversation. Even more realistic views, like Kenny Wen's use of a study to say that XRP could trade between $3,500 0 cents and $22,000 0 cents due to changes in regulations. There's a growing interest in moonshot situations. Of course, we need to be honest, these predictions hinge on a huge number of people using Ripple around the world, trust from institutions, more usefulness growing through real-world partnerships, and a market that is much bigger than it is now. But they're not just made up. A spot ETF from BlackRock would be the best sign of trust. It would allow big investors, hedge funds, retirement plans, and regular banks to deal with XRP without going through crypto exchanges. And if that happens, people might